Talk about your pairing with Kane. What are your memories of being with Kane as his girlfriend?
Oh man, that was fun. That's when I felt like life was opening up, and it was awesome. He was great to work with, and then that spun into turning on him, and that was a really really neat moment. I mean, you could hear the crowd go silent on the moment that I turned on him and went with X-Pac, and it was great because to be with, I mean, the shoes that you got to, that of the people that came before in Degeneration X, to be in there to even get that
Right.
spot was wow. That was like heaven, sheer heaven, and then to be in the ring with Hunter and X-Pac, Road Dogg, that whole gang, just Stephanie, phenomenal,
Right.
phenomenal times, best memories ever.
What was Hunter like outside the ring?
Outside the ring, very pragmatic, businesslike, jovial, helpful, at the gym, very, very. This business means so much to him, and you can see that. I mean, he was with it. Extreme professional, always a great sense of humor, very caring, very very caring, and he was great. He's of all the great people that I got to be around, somebody that was just really, really dear and helped out. And I got to, share like my passion for the business with
Right.
him in that way. That was a lot of fun.
What about Stephanie? What was she like outside the ring?
Just excellent as well. It was fun to work with her. I loved the things that we got to do in Degeneration X, and it was just fun. I loved the storyline, and outside of the ring, incredible, very, very sweet, was wonderful. When my shoulder and all of that stuff happened, I mean, flowers were there, and she called, just great. Miss her.
When the whole debacle was going on between Triple H and Steph and Chyna, did all the boys, obviously they knew about it and stuff. What was that like as far as like keeping it a secret? And
It was, I mean, my memories of it were, everybody was acting very appropriate. It was hard because I was riding with Chyna and I was working, with those guys, and I mean, there was something in the air of possibly a connection or something. I mean, so what was really really hard for me was to be riding with Chyna, and I mean, and I didn't see anything, and then if I did, I would have been in a spot, and that would have been picking battles.
right.
So this is a shitty space nobody wants to be in, and so I mean, that private matter. It would have been great if that could have just been played out, amongst themselves, because the backstage politics were hard enough,
Right.
as it was. But I think it was just a connection between those guys that happened, and ultimately in the end, I don't think anybody wanted to hurt anybody out of, things shift, people break up, they go with it's a Hollywood thing. You go do a movie with somebody and you wind up, divorcing whoever you did your last movie with and going on to the next, and so. It's something that happens, but all parties concerned, I mean, it turned out interesting in the end. But yeah, it was challenging to really, really stay, because you definitely didn't want heat for anything. So just keeping nose to grindstone. I didn't want to lose that position because it was a great one, and thought the world of Chyna and thought the world of Hunter, of course, and Stephanie very much so.
What are your thoughts on Chyna? I mean, obviously you know her really well, and after WWE, I'm sure you've heard like the stories of her behavior and just different stuff that she's gone through.
Well, I saw her. I kind of got to check in with her on the reality shows a little bit, and I mean, I can, she, when I was on the road with her, she was at such a position in the company. Her book had just come out, and there was an immense amount of pressure. Again, crawling up to the top. Where do you go from there? How do you make that happen? Then in personal life, there was heartbreak going on for her, and. When you're on the road, it's very difficult to sleep, and, it becomes, I mean, it's not a odd thing to head in that direction, the self-medicating, just kind of wanting it to stop for a moment. It happens, and it can happen to any of us. And so when I saw that, it's just, you just send out support and hope that, definitely with Chyna, I mean, I felt very close, like, please, I don't want to read about you, make it through, girl, make it through, and I didn't know how to get a hold of her or anything, or not that should have, could have, would have, been in that space, but those were definitely thoughts, and I think she's made it through. I hope that's what I hear, that she's made it through the rough patches.
What about Sean Waltman, working with Sean?
He was, I got to meet him in Japan, and he would call, throughout time that just, he wanted a bodybuilder chick to be in the ring with him when he went on with the WWE, and would try to get that spot as well, but I would get blackballed back. I don't know if it's still done that way, but names would pass around. What do you think of Terri Poch? And the people who had the primary position at that point in time would get to say yay or nay. So Sean would call me, and because Minnesota, Brad Rankins, and he would go, man, I'm trying to get you in, but somebody's got a hard on for you. And I was like, I don't know anybody from there. So somebody didn't. Insecurity, jealousy, whatever.
Right.
A muscular girl coming in, I don't know who, what, but that's always the case here. You've got to ultimately, you could be the most well trained. There's got to be some moment of an ally, or you've got to catch Vince's eye with the right idea, right timing, of something to make it in.
What about Mick Foley? Memories of Mick?
Oh man, he was great. What a talented guy. Uber creative, funnier than hell. I loved my favorite memory of him was he was doing a run in out at the ring, and Kane, I had turned on Kane. We were Degeneration X, and I had the big collar on. That was when I was out at the ring trying to be my hoe trashy self, and doing it all with this neck brace on, because Kane had given me a tombstone pile driver, and Mick's music came on, and the timing, because he was going to be hauling ass down to the ring, and I got the look in the camera panned on my face, like, oh, like a cartoon, when the bad person thinks that they're winning out there, and then, oh, here comes the good guy to save the day. And so it was like, and I turned around, and wow, he plowed right through me, and that was one of the most favorite. But I remember him from Japan, and he was with Onita and the groups, the barbed wire matches. Definitely. And the real, Jesus Christ, that was some.
When you were over to Japan, is that what was going on as far as like?
He was over there at that time doing that, and wow.
Did you follow that FMW when you were?
Yeah, because it was in the magazines, and
right.
and Fumi Saito, and you got to see what was going on, and Onita.
Yeah, exactly.
Those people were crazed for those matches, and he was one of the best at them.
It was like 92,
Guy
95.
had no fear. Yeah, and his cage match with Undertaker, I think, just happened when I was coming in, and he was incredible the night that him and Shane McMahon were talking backstage, and he was who I pulled in my head when I was going to turn on Kane that evening in Baltimore. It was Mick Foley, and he was having a meeting with Shane, and I got to see him. And I just said, man, because Mick, the moment that he turned heel, and I remember watching that, and I thought, man, if I ever have to do that, that's exactly, I want to evoke that or whatever. And he was a huge source of like what I was thinking when I turned on Kane. And I actually got to, he gave me some pointers, and he said he liked where I was going with that. And
cool.
Good guy.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.